Hello everyone, my name is Owain on the Thomas Birth channel, and this is my brother.
Dewey.
And today we're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 8, The Southern Cross. So this is your chance now to leave before we get into any spoilers. 3, 2, 1, Mayors.
Right, very big episode, the last episode.
Yes.
And I guess you could say it's the kind of trial for not just Karen Page, but Fisk and Daredevil in a way as well. Because really, most of it is held up in the courtroom with the trial of Karen Page.
Yes, and then technically when Fisk is brought up, and it sort of becomes a trial on Fisk instead.
Yes, and really the whole Safer Streets Act and the Anti-Vigilante Task Force. Really, this whole court itself was about against, is this the right thing for the mayor to do? And, you know, Matt coming in, having the bullet removed by Jessica because she's staying.
Yes, he goes to the courtroom to help with the trial against Karen Page. He brings up, the North Star.
Yes.
And how it was actually under Fisk's orders that they got sunk. Which, you know, is cool to actually see that video get used. Because the last time we saw it was, like, way back, like at the beginning of the season.
Episode 3 or 4, something like that. I don't know, it's a while back. So we finally see that being brought to light. Now, obviously, Fisk's own people, you know, trying to say, you know, unless that person is here, then this means nothing.
Yes.
I mean, it's a recording of a person giving the evidence of who it is. But
with him not physically being there, they can't say whether that was reliable or not. But they did say Daredevil was on there. And Matt makes a really, like, ballsy play of actually revealing his identity as Daredevil.
Yeah. Yes, you did get a snippet, though. When the judge wanted to see them all in the other room, Fisk did warn him, you know, like, you know, if you're going to go down this road and you're going to go to prison. And he knew exactly where the road... And I'm going to say it now to bear in mind what happens later on, because he knows what's coming. And, you know, as you were about to say there, he makes that ballsy move.
Yes. And I actually did really like when Fisk was talking to him because of Daredevil being able to tune into what Fisk was saying, and Fisk knows he'll listen. But, God, that was a really daring play on, well,
he
Daredevil's
he did an Iron Man where he was like, I am Daredevil.
And in the end, it's because of that play that he gets not only Karen Page out, but sort of gets everyone to turn on Fisk and the Anti-Vigilante Task Force, because he proves that, well, they sunk the Northern Star and they were
because he's a witness to it. He's proven now that he's been Daredevil. He is the witness. He's seen it all, and his sort of verdict of it, and as he's telling the judge all this, that him being an eyewitness there is the proof that they need, and the court itself is wrong. The whole, you know, everything that is happening here is wrong.
That the whole thing was set up specifically to take down Karen Page and Daredevil, and it wouldn't have really been
any other vigilante that he's got out there. Because he did actually ask him, you know, what were you bringing in through the shipping lanes into Red Hook? And he says, not your business, little man, to know what's coming and going through the city. So you see more of the Kingpin there, and how much he wants control.
Fisk does try to sort of get out of it, I guess, because he gets that guy to pretend to be Bullseye to, well, shoot him, to blame it all on vigilantes and stuff. But the real Bullseye actually comes in and kills the guy and all of his guards, and he shoots back when they're leaving.
He does injure Buck, actually, I'm going to say this now, just in case I forget later on. We don't actually know what happens to him at the end.
Yeah, that's because we see him then later on in the courtroom where he's being helped out by
Heather,
Yeah, but we don't actually know what's happened to him or if he's died.
He was bleeding out, you know, he was shot, like, you know, in the stomach area, when he was off to the side. But you don't really get to see what happens to him. You know, he's in the hospital. Is he in prison? Because, you know, he was with
that's
and all
true,
things.
actually.
The Anti-Vigilante Task Force were. You know, what's actually happened to him? So we don't officially know that, I guess. The most just up in the air. And then I'll mention this now as well, Heather, because obviously those two seem to be, and her, like, descent into
to being
Muse. It looks like they could bring back Muse, I guess, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, like
being the same.
I don't. She just doesn't seem to be as psychotic as Muse was in that first season. She's
psychotic in another way, but like just not in the
way that I think Muse should be psychotic in.
Yeah.
But she is going into that sort of descent, as you see in the end, her putting on the mask.
Yeah.
But the whole courtroom gets locked down, and Fisk tells all the vigilante task force, one way or another, Karen Page and Matt Murdock aren't leaving this building alive. And the governor was also there, which I thought was
playing
cool.
a power play with just stepping in, because when Fisk saw her, he realised, well, my assassins failed.
Yeah.
And, she does say it to him with Jessica Jones behind. You have a little scene, like, between Fisk saying, we're talking to Jessica Jones, and those two, as far as I'm aware, have never interacted before. So, I thought it was a very interesting scene. I didn't know if we were going to get more from Jessica from that.
I thought we'd get more from Jessica in general, but I guess it is still Daredevil.
We get a couple of fight scenes, don't we? But I was hoping to see more of her in the whole show. But obviously, she has got a daughter now, so her responsibilities have shifted a lot more and stuff. So, but you do see her, Karen Page, Kirsten, the governor, Matt, all held up in one room.
Yeah.
Trying to find basically a way out of the situation, because Fisk goes on the news.
Yeah, that was really interesting. He goes live and is talking about how, I will stand and I will stay and stuff, as everyone in the city is gathering around to, I guess, storm the place. And you even got BB Urich, who's doing the whole underground Fisk thing, mocking him and being like, it's time to rise up and fight against him.
Yeah, because I think with Fisk, he did that to try and, as you say, rile people up and basically start war, get people on his side. And then BB, with what she did to get people on Daredevil's side.
Yeah.
And it literally became a city-wide warfare, I guess.
Yeah.
Storm the courthouse, and everyone wearing their Daredevil costumes and all in red and stuff like that. And the vigilante task force just out in front.
Oh my god, yeah, that was a cool part. When the guy that shot White Tiger actually takes out
Powell.
Yeah, because he was told by Powell that White Tiger killed the guy by pushing him into the train.
Yeah, but it's not just like you saw a slight sort of way of getting out of this, like the anti-vigilante task force, a couple of episodes ago, where Powell killed that other guy.
Yes.
And shot him, and he was like, what the hell? He was one of us and stuff.
And he was like, no, he's a rat.
Yeah. It's it's not the point, you just outright killed him for... Okay. So you kind of saw his, sort of descent there from leaving the anti-vigilante.
Yeah, because he knocks him out and he says, you guys can go in.
It's cool to see all the police there, though. You literally had Sherry, you had Officer Brent, you had them all there, and I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Literally the New York Police Department, all up in front, basically powerhouse. It reminds me of a couple of times where, in season 3 of the Daredevil, you had a scene in a church where the police and the FBI are trying to get Karen Page. But she offers herself over to the police instead of the FBI, and there's a bit of a power play there. It kind of reminds me a bit of that for anyone who's watched Daredevil. But there was no harm done. They were let in to try and find Fisk.
They storm it, try and find Fisk. Meanwhile, you've got the anti-vigilante task force trying to find Daredevil, and that leads into, I think, probably my favourite part of the whole episode, which was the double hallway fight scene with Fisk, Jessica, and White Tiger, and then Fisk against all the protesters.
Yeah, when he opened that door, he said, "Boo!" It's I would bloody
That
run.
was funny.
Yeah, because if you knew how much strength that guy has got, you would run.
He absolutely decimates everyone in that hallway.
Some people are brain dead the way he just knocked them out, and then that one bit where he picked up a guy and crushed his spine when he put him up against the wall.
Oh my god!
his body bent backwards and everything. It was just
absolutely brutal.
Do you know what? I'm not gonna. I thought about this in the moment, because when he started killing those people, Like, you could see people banging on the door to be let out. It reminds me of, like...
the Darth Vader!
That's
what I was thinking.
I was thinking about it. It reminds me of it. Let us out, you know, he's killing everybody. But instead with a lightsaber, he's got these fists just going around killing people. Yeah, just straight
up punching people. And
but
then...
It just reminded me of that, you know, let me out. There's a hallway again, you know, he's just walking down it, killing everybody that's going past him.
At the same time, you had Daredevil and Jessica Jones and White Tiger near the end, all fighting the
anti-vigilante task force.
Yeah, while helping the protesters that were getting mugged by them.
The people were starting on Fisk's side to sort of leave him because they were sort of like, you know, you want us to just, you know, outright kill him and stuff, or either I'll tender your resignation, and they're like, right, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was definitely hints of them starting to leave, like that guy that knocked out Powell, you know.
Yeah, because I think they started to wake up to the reality that
it's out of control. Like, look at it. The city itself is
fighting against you. Yeah. Better you fight with them than against them. But eventually they all meet up in, like, the stairwell.
Main hallway,
where Fisk is at the top looking at this sort of spectacle of it, to see all those people gathered up at the bottom with Daredevil leading them. And then Fisk there, he, like, throws people off the balcony and stuff. And he's like, oh, I wanted what was best for this city.
I'm still fighting for you.
Yeah. It was kind of sad, to be honest.
Yeah, because he believed he always did the right thing in his mind, as messed up as that is. But everybody then charging at him. And, like, you know, obviously he takes down loads. But eventually there's just way too many.
Yeah, they overwhelm him.
Him couldn't, you know. And obviously Jessica and Matt realize this isn't the real way to take him down. You don't kill him. You know, you have to be better than this. And so they go to stop him. And you see them beating him up, and it's like, you know, he's tough as hell, but eventually he will go down if he gets too much of beating.
The thing, when they get all the people off of Fisk and he gets back up, he's not in as bad of a condition as I thought he'd be.
He's not bruised. He's not like... Well, this is it. Like, that fight is like muscle, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's a lot of muscle to get all your fists. So taking a lot of time to do it.
Like, I would have thought, like, the only thing he's got is, like, some blood in his face. And even then, you can't really tell what that was.
His what? Oh, the ones that he killed just before getting down the stairs. Yeah, but no, it just goes to show how much strong he is.
Yeah, but he gets up, and Matt and him sort of work out a thing, because Fisk had been offered a deal
by the Attorney General.
Yes, that he could, if he left New York and he stopped being mayor, he could get away with it scot-free with everything else. And Matt tells him, take the deal, because if you go back, because at least Matt's not stupid enough to know prison won't keep him. He's gotten out of there twice now. He knows prison won't keep him, and he's like, well, if you go to prison, you'll get out, and this will happen over and over and over again until eventually one of us die, and it's just not worth how many people...
And the city will get torched, really,
It's just not worth it, so we both leave, and that was a really cool part, honestly.
Yeah, you remind me if I don't shake your hand, and it's like, oh yeah, I understand completely. But I have to say, and you brought it up as well, how this has ended.
Yes.
You know, you have that nice scene with Matt and Karen. That restaurant, I don't think I told you, they've been in that one before. It's when they went on their first dates, one of the original Daredevils, because they had like these nice shining lights and stuff. I can't remember the place, but I think it was the same place. At least reminds them a lot of when they first used to date back in the day. But Matt gets arrested.
Yeah.
And is now in prison. So you have this person who's always tried to fight for justice and take down the criminals go into prison, while Kingpin, who has, not just with all his activities in the past, but recently killed all those people in the hallway, his anti-vigilante task force, smuggling weapons inside the city.
And God knows what else.
Yeah.
And all he gets is basically a slap on the wrist.
To me, it's
really
wrong.
Unfair.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I know the idea is that, well, it's not really going to be right either way, because even if he did go to prison, he'd just get out. But at least have some sort of harsher punishment than that. Even if you did send him to prison, at least, even if he got out, it would be you recognising this is what he deserves.
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't even get that. They don't even try and send him there.
Yeah. So I just, it literally is. He's on that beach where he envisioned, him and Vanessa going to be at. But obviously to him, it's hollow because he doesn't have Vanessa anymore.
I guess that's sort of his punishment, is that he won't...
But they don't know that. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still not the justice system. So, yeah, I would say wound up. I'm a bit, confused on that whole thing. But, yeah. I think maybe that's how maybe they wanted to end it. But the way they did it wasn't maybe the perfect way. 'Cause again, he didn't really go... I mean, we didn't see him go on trial, did we, Matt? Like, you have to at least go through the process of, being up in court.
That is true,
He just goes straight to prison.
Maybe they either did it off screen or because it's already been proven plenty of times before that because he was arrested.
Yeah, but you still gotta give your word and stuff.
Because he admitted he was Daredevil, and Daredevil would have already been a criminal, I guess, from beating people up. I guess that was technically also his trial, albeit it wasn't much of a one, but he confessed to being Daredevil, therefore confessed to all of Daredevil's crimes.
But the thing is, right, I would have still thought, with the governor being in the same room and seeing what he's done and stuff, to be can we not just give him a slap on the wrist or something? Just don't be him again and you can at least walk out.
Yeah, but there we are.
I just, there's a very powerful person in that room and Daredevil has helped you out by getting Bullseye to save your life from that assassin, and he still goes to prison. But you also mentioned as well in the trailer for Spider-Man, he's in a prison.
Yes, with the hand.
Or something. I was also thinking about this as well. Who's Punisher in that trailer chasing down? Because it's not the anti-vigilante. Because I assume they're disbanded now.
Yes.
Because you see Matt in the prison, and you see all the ex-anti-vigilante task force that goes past him, and it's like, oh great, you're gonna have fun with him. Although that one guy sort of gave him a nod, didn't he? As if
we're okay, we're cool now.
Did he sense that? Do you know what I mean? It's just like I know he's got echolocation, but Jesus Christ, that quick movement.
He heard the wind.
Yeah, I don't know, the fluctuations there, just sort of, I don't know. But I thought it was pretty fun. So okay, he's cool, I guess. But everyone else is going to be in for it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason why I brought the prison up is because obviously in the trailer for Spider-Man and maybe the connection there and stuff. And, Daredevil Season 3 is supposed to have the Defenders back. Now, we did see with Jessica Jones.
Luke Cage
is back, yeah. And, she set up Alias Investigations again. And so I thought that was cool because that was the name of her business back in the Jessica Jones series and stuff, yeah.
Bullseye is working for Charles.
Yeah.
So I guess that will lead into the Bullseye TV show then.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Maybe there's something. Because I did like the actor for Bullseye. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I thought
we were going to see more of him in this last episode as well.
Yeah,
but he was just there with the gun. He shoots back, and then that's...
What was the point in him shoot? Did he plan on shooting Fisk?
I assume so. But then when Powell realised that their sniper was no longer their sniper, he knew exactly where to shoot, because that's where they placed him. They all shot there, but obviously Bullseye, got the shot on back. So, again, we don't know what happens with him. Heather is becoming new, so
weirdo.
Luke Cage is back with Jessica Jones, so obviously we can see them more in the future. I do wonder, though, for Daredevil Season 3... who's the bad guy going to be in it? Because Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio as King is, amazing. But in terms of the character, can you keep using Kingpin for every season as a villain?
No.
Or could you bring in a new villain that is quite big that will warrant the Defenders to join forces again to take down the season? Because originally, I think back at the end of season 1, we were like, okay, if Fisk stays in power and he has the Anti-Vigilante Task Force, he has so much control and so much corruption everywhere that it would take all of them to take him down. But now that he's no longer mayor, what is the reason for them going together?
There's Muse, but Muse does not... Heather does not seem like a big enough villain for all of them.
At best, I think maybe like a cameo side character off to the side, but I doubt she's going to be...
And then...
Buck's still around, but he's just a guy with a gun who's very good, but just not. He's no bullseye.
They could bring back the hand, assuming, like what they do with Brand New Day. They could bullseye maybe.
No, I don't. No, I don't think bullseye.
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe the hand, possibly after what we've seen from the trailers of Spider-Man.
Or
but that's a guess.
Charles, because we don't know what sort of connections Charles has.
Yeah, we don't really know what kind of agency he belongs with. We know he like works sort of for the government. But just don't know.
They also hired a very big actor to play Charles. Like they hired Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, you mean Shaggy?
Yeah, Shaggy, sorry. They hired Shaggy's actor to play him. You just hire that big of an actor and then have him just be a one-and-done character.
Yeah.
So he will probably have a bigger role and...
Possibly, maybe in the Bullseye show, and maybe his connections will lead to something else later on. But no, I'm trying to think of other characters they need. I mean, White Tiger, we saw her. I guess she's going to be filling in that role now. Obviously Matt's in prison, Fisk is out and about. I don't know if we'll ever get a team up from them maybe one day. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as we were just talking then about a bigger villain coming into play that requires those defenders, maybe Fisk still has connections that could do something.
Maybe, well...
Because I thought they were both going to go to prison at one point.
I thought so as well, but no. And seeing that, even though Fisk is outside New York, he could still just be, like, run his criminal empire just outside of New York.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't in the deal.
Yeah, the thing is that I honestly thought at one point it was going to be a case of the only way you can take me down is if you take yourself down as well.
That's what I thought.
And I thought they were both going to go to prison.
Yeah.
But no, apparently Fisk gets away.
That would have been good, though, because then Daredevil would have been able to keep him in prison.
Well... I don't know.
Relatively.
Keep him in prison, but he'll have the contacts to get out again.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great series, a great show.
Yeah.
I thought it was a hell of a step up from last year.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I know last year the writing was kind of mismatched a bit.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I really like the courtroom scenes, though. I really do like those.
Courtroom scenes are really cool.
It's really impactful. Like, keeps you on edge. And you know, like the witnesses you have on stand and then being questioned. And I love to see Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock to being the interrogator, the questioner of the people that are on the stand.
Yeah.
You know? And no, I love how he does that. I think it's a real great portrayal of his character.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I believe so.
But if there's anything we've missed, please feel free to leave it down in the comments section. We'll get back to you guys as soon as we can on our thoughts of the show. But honestly, I really loved the show. I thought it was fantastic. Can't wait to see the next series now.
Yeah.
But we know that we are getting Punisher soon. One Last Kill.
Yes, May 12th.
May 12th. Yeah, not that. Where's the calendar? Oh, right, in 5 days' time. So, yeah, not much longer for that. And I think, yeah, that's going to maybe open up some more questions and stuff for us as well. So, with that being said, that's going to be it for me, Dewi, my brother.
Bye.
And we will catch you all in the next video. Goodbye.
Ta-da.